What's up, guys? So Teresa and I have been talking a lot recently about exiting the matrix, and I wanted to tell my story, my exit the matrix story. And I think this is a time when people around the world are waking up and kind of realizing that you don't have to live the prescribed program of life that has been passed down generation to generation. And they're popping out of this old paradigm and creating all this kind of new, wonderful ways of life, exiting the matrix. So a lot of people have their exit the matrix story. This is mine. My hope is to inspire you so you know that it's possible for you too. Teresa and I both share a history of being deeply embedded in this old world. In my case, I had a corporate job for years. I worked in New York City in a corporate job, a cubicle job for 6-7 years, and worked with really good people. I worked with really good people, and it was a good company, and there's really nothing wrong with it from the standpoint of the world and how it works. If you're playing in those paradigms and those rules, if you will, then it was a fine job. But me inside, I just knew. I knew there was more. I knew there was more that I wanted. I knew there was more possible. And I knew, most importantly, that my gift, what I was here to give, wasn't being expressed. And so because of that, there was very little joy. I was happy here and there when the kind of world would give me what I wanted. One year I got a really kick-ass bonus, for example. Boy, that was fun. But there was no meaning. There was no richness. There was no real joy. And that's what this is about. So anyway, I've had that. I was in deep debt during that job. I have eaten extremely and unhealthily in the past. I've lived in fear. I've felt a call to do things and not done that for some time. And I think my story is really sort of in two phases. There's a long phase where I was kind of halfway with things. I'd jump all in, maybe change my job and create a business, which I did 10, 12 years ago. But even still, I was kind of halfway in a new life and still halfway in another one. I was still fearful about money. I was in a relationship that didn't really work. I was kind of in over my head in terms of my lifestyle. I wasn't really conscious. I wasn't really awake. And things didn't work. In the last year or so, though, and Teresa and I got married over 5 years ago. We've had an incredible relationship, and that helps, at least for me. I don't think that's a requirement for others, but for me it's been a help because we're both still on the same page. But about a year and a half ago, we both realized that we felt we were here for a bigger reason. We both felt a real calling to engage with the world. And that calling can be expressed in various ways. For me, my calling is that people know that they're the creator. You're the creator. You're the creator. You can do anything you want, truly, if you can change your beliefs, and if you can create a support system around you that can help echo these positive messages. And the world doesn't really do that very well. So we need to create a group of people or a community around us that can help us emphasize all these positive messages that we're trying to now kind of implement and employ in our lives. So we went for it. We realized we had a calling, and we realized too that the way we had designed our lives didn't really reflect that. We were living in a condo. We had a daughter, a beautiful daughter, Sophia, and we were just sort of hunkered down in this very standard looking life, and it just did not feel like us at all. So what do? Well, we created this vision for what it could be, and we can talk about revisioning it another time in another video, but we had this burst of energy. Once you tap into your callings, like this burst of energy of whoa, maybe my life could be all these wonderful things, and it can. But then what eventually happens is a person kind of runs up against their big decision, the thing that they don't want to change, that they now have to change. And in our case, in Teresa's case, it was her job, and for me it was selling the apartment and virtually getting rid of everything. I just knew that we were weighed down, that this condo wasn't us, that where we were living just didn't feel right. So we did it. And about a year ago, just over a year ago, in fact, we took off in a van. We converted a Sprinter van into our home. We drove around for a while. We explored the West Coast up into Canada. We lived in this epic way for a long time. And then we felt called to come to Costa Rica and explore that with some friends. We came down here during the winter time. We found this magical valley up in the mountains that is like Shangri-La. I'm here now. we came back to California to kind of settle our affairs, if you will. And we've been here for a couple of months now, kind of settling into our new life. And I don't think anybody ever actually fully exits the matrix per se, in that, you know, we're here in this realm, this dimension, this density, if you will, playing by certain rules. So there are certain things that are just a given. We accept that. But so many aren't. So many aren't. All of the man-made rules that you think you have to live by are completely arbitrary. You have free will. You can generate and create anything you want. We've done it. Not perfectly. Are we fully out? Not quite. There's still always a little further to go. I don't care how long you're here. There's always a little further to go. But we're out by and large. And we live in this amazing place. We have this amazing life. We have an amazing community of people around us. We're doing amazing, epic things. It feels so alive. I tell you, I get up in the morning and I am so on fire to get into it, to create, to generate, to make visible the current or the flow that I know is the universe speaking through me, to make visible all those things. This is for you if you want it. This is my Exit the Matrix story.